Great, thanks. As with all these sessions, we're always challenged on time, so I think it's going to be a fairly quick round. We did have a question just now from Abigail. She would like to know what connectivity needs and what should be in place before such an app as District has would be usable.
Well, we just need basic internet connectivity for it to work, whether it's 4G or Wi-Fi, it doesn't matter. But of course, if you don't have any internet at all, no app will work. So if we're completely in the middle of nowhere, it might not make that much sense before you have connectivity to look at then connecting more sort of experiential services through technology. So the basis of everything we do is having internet connectivity, that's for sure.
Great. And I'd also like to just raise a question that Andrew answered online, but just for the rest of the audience. Lily asks, what role do internet service providers play to support smart towns other than providing full fibre to communities? Andrew?
Oh, sorry, Linda. Yeah, sorry for answering that online. I think the ISP is in a great facilitator position as a digital assistant, digital champion. I think their business models can vary a lot. Some of them have already grown out of a wireless tradition, and I'm guessing that Spectrum has. So it's still very well able to fill those gaps in connectivity before people get fibre, and potentially be part of rolling fibre out to areas that perhaps are not being served by other providers. I know companies like City Fibre have steamed into the large city deals, but I guess there's lots of scopes in towns, particularly if you've got a partnership with the local authority to get all your leeways and so on sorted, then I can't see why an established and respected ISP couldn't have a good business there, helping customers get faster.
Great, thanks. And I guess one question I had, and maybe this one for John, there's such a spectrum of options for us available in terms of connectivity, and there is a need to future-proof that as well, and we've seen that evolution of the Gs. So what would your advice be to a town that's thinking about this at the moment, from their current needs through to their future needs?
Well, the first thing I would note is there's an awful lot you can do with 4G. As Lee said, a lot of these things that people want to do just need good internet access. By good, I mean reliable and reasonably fast. If you're a hospital and you want to share medical images, 4G is going to struggle. But most applications are not that demanding. So first of all, I would understand what 4G coverage and capability is available in your local area. And as with all the Gs, they start at the beginning of the decade, but they get much, much better as the decade progresses. So, as well as knowing what your 4G coverage is, also understand, whether the operator has put technologies like carrier aggregation in place in your area to boost the speed further. In other words, don't underestimate 4G. Just because everybody's talking about 5G, there's a lot that you can do even if you're still waiting for it. Having said that, 5G is also available if you really want it quickly in the private mode, in a way that previous Gs have not been available. And the reason for that is that Ofcom is now introducing a concept whereby Spectrum is still licensed only to mobile operators, but now the operators are able, indeed some cases they're mandated, if they're not using their licensed spectrum in certain areas, they have to make it available on commercial terms to private enterprises or to public sector bodies in that area. So this is making the availability of licensed spectrum much wider than it has been in the past. So that's another option, I think, that it's worth considering, if you're in a hurry to do something in your area and the coverage isn't there yet.
Right.
Linda, just if I may add something.
Yeah, sure.
Just another thing that the council can do is think about potential sites where if if there is an issue with mobile coverage, potential places where an operator could come and might be pre-cleared or pre-agreed in some way, because you're just putting another barrier in the way of mobile operator rolling out if you have all sorts of sites to locate and permissions to agree and all the rest of it. So there are some things you could do to make their decision more likely to be positive.
Great, thanks for that. We've got a question from Zoe. So Zoe's saying that her town, which has a population of 3,500, does have connectivity and community Wi-Fi, but the business community is struggling to see the benefits. So this was particularly for Lee in terms of what quick advice do you have for a town that doesn't have any co-working spaces, a dwindling high street, and perhaps how connectivity in a smart town could help revive the high street?
I think it's especially important for smaller towns that are maybe dwindling in population or historically have been dwindling in population to reposition themselves as attractive destinations for people that maybe are leaving larger cities because they're interested in more of a country nature, like, you know, suburban lifestyle. You don't want to live in a big city anymore. But if you're taking a job with you, which I think is very, very interesting. So with hybrid working and remote working, a lot of very high level paid, very well paid professionals have the ability to now work anywhere in the UK that they choose to work, and they're going to take a job with them. So traditionally it was difficult to move to small cities because there were no jobs. I can't, I'm an engineer by, trading, and I probably could move to your village but not necessarily get a job that would satisfy what I'm looking for or what I want to be paid. But if I bring my job with me and you provide me with a great rural lifestyle, but it's connected, then maybe I would revive the high street by actually bringing money and bringing connectivity through my sort of professional, life with me. So I think it could be a really great opportunity for towns to connect their dwindling high street, to provide services. It doesn't have to be through a technology app, but certainly to position yourself as a city that is innovative and wants to reconnect people. So you could turn cafes into co-working spaces if you don't already have co-working spaces. But I think people don't just want to work at home these days. They want to go work in a local space as well.
That's great, Lee. Thanks very much. And again, I think the US have been particularly innovative in this regard. There's the city of Tulsa actually has something called Tulsa Remote, in which it's just attracting people to come and live in Tulsa that can actually do a job remotely, and they're offering kind of free co-working space and a stipend for the first year because they believe it's going to offer such a good lifestyle that people will stay. So there's all kinds of innovative things that are going on globally at the moment around that. We're running over time now, but I think that was a really great session from our panelists. Thank you very much. And I think a great reminder that I think sometimes as technologists, we tend to think of connectivity as being digital infrastructure, but we've been reminded today that it's actually about the people and connecting the community. So thanks very much for that.
Thanks, Linda. I like that concept of bringing a job with you, because obviously with young people leaving the area, we want to attract them back to Wales. And rather than telling them to come back, their job's here, we can say, bring a job with you. But we obviously need to provide them with that facility. So anyway, just a quick note, I've set up a LinkedIn group around called Smart Towns Wales, Smart Towns Cymru. So I'm aware this is fairly one way, so we need some interaction. We need to get the interaction going. So that's a start on that. So our final webinar in the series will be on the 8th of April. And so we'll be looking back over the masterclasses we've had and consider the what next. And I'm confident there is something to follow this set of masterclasses. So the format will be different, and we'll look at enabling greater interaction with the audience. So this will have set the scene, and as somebody more impressive than me said, this is merely the end of the beginning. So I'd like to thank Linda once again. with John, Lee, Andrew. So I had the names here of my speakers from last time. So I was about to thank Wendy and Stephen, who haven't been here, obviously. Thanks to all our speakers, and also to Sarah from the Hub, Peter Williams, Darren Maudsley, and Matt from Welsh Government. And with that, I will call the webinar to an end. Thank you very much. Diolch yn fawr iawn i chi.